Alright guys, so in this video we are going to recap the SOL formula sheet, but with a focus on our 3D figures. If you have any questions about 2D, pop back to the 2D video, okay? Alright, so first things first, we have a rectangular prism, okay? So we're going to find the volume and surface area. Remember, volume is how much it holds. Think of like filling up a cup. That would be volume. Surface area is the area around your figure. Okay, basically kind of ish perimeter of a 3D figure plus area. That's a really weird way to phrase it. All right, but for volume, we have length, width, height. So we have length. Does it matter which one is length, which one is width? No, it does not. The only one that I would try to kind of keep straight is height. Okay, since our height always is the one that's going up and down. And for a lot of our other figures, it's going to be vertical or perpendicular with our bases. Okay, so just let's keep that one organized. That's the main one that I care about. Okay, so for volume, we have 4 centimeters times 8 centimeters times 10 centimeters. Pay extra attention to why I have these units. When you put that into Desmos, 4 times 8 times 10 is going to give us 320 centimeters times centimeters times centimeters gives us centimeters cubed. Volume is always going to have centimeters cubed. Literally always. Always. There's no exception. Volume is always units cubed or to the third. All right. For surface area, all right, we have 2 times our length and our width plus 2 times our length and our height plus 2 times our width and our height. Okay, just straight up plug into the formula, guys, okay? When you put that into Desmos, your calculator, whatever you're using, we end up with our surface area equaling 304 centimeters squared, okay? Area always, always, always squared. The reason being, this is 4 centimeters times 8 centimeters. That gives us centimeters squared. Same thing, centimeter squared, centimeter squared. When you add these 3 terms together, it's still centimeter squared, right? Like our units are not changing. Okay, so area, surface area, always squared, volume, always cubed. And remember back from that first video, perimeter, always just your units to the first, okay? Because you're just adding them. All right, up next, we have a pyramid. Okay, and as you can tell on the bottom, our pyramid is a rectangle. All right, so this is 5 and that is 3. That tells us that side is also 5. And this left side is also going to be 3. Okay, so these do get to be a little bit more involved. For this one, we are just going to find the volume. All right, so we are just using this formula. That capital B stands for the area of our base. Okay, so B is area of our base. And since our base is a rectangle, we know that equals length times width. So B equals 5 inches times 3 inches. So B equals 15 inches squared. All right, now when I highlight that, our height, we know our height and our base have to be perpendicular. Okay, so our height is going to be 4 inches. When we plug this in for volume, we have 1/3 times 15 inches squared times 4 inches. Deal with our big numbers. 1/3 times 15 times 4, surprisingly actually, is going to go ahead and give us 40. And remember, our units for volume are always going to be cubed because we have inches squared times inches, right? That is how we landed on inches cubed. All right, so we're just finding the volume of this one because surface area and lateral area deal with that slant. And if you are not given that slant, it is so hard to find, okay? That's why in this example, you are given your slant, okay? So the P in these two formulas, since these are the two that we're working with, all right, we are working with P stands for the perimeter of our base. This right here, since we're not given two measurements, we're going to assume that that is a square. Okay, so for our perimeter, remember from that last video, we have 4 times our side. So our perimeter equals 28 meters. Okay, we still have to do the base area. All right, remember that is just our side squared. So we have 7 meters squared. That gives us 49 meters squared. So let me just highlight this in our formula so we know exactly what we are plugging in where. Okay, that L, remember, like I said, it stands for that slant, right there. You can also see it on the formula. Like I said, that you should be given. Okay, so for our lateral area, now we just plug it in. 1/2 times 10 meters times, remember our perimeter is 28 meters. So our lateral area, plug that into your calculator. You get that that is 140 meters squared. Similarly, for our surface area, we just plug into our formula. 1/2 times our slant is 10. Our perimeter was 28, plus the area of our base was 49. So when you add all of that up, we get that our surface area is 189 meters squared. Can't forget our units, guys, right? Our units are the most important bits and pieces of these problems. If you do not include your units, you will not get credit for a problem, okay? Oh gosh, I'm getting out of breath. Next one, we have a triangular prism, right? So we're going to find our surface area, lateral area, and volume. We're finding all of the measurements, okay? So first things first, we want to find the perimeter of our base. That is this triangle. We just add them up. 13 plus 12 plus 5 tells us that our perimeter is going to be 30 centimeters. Okay. For the area of our base, remember from that last video, it's 1/2. The little base of our triangle is 12. Okay. And our height is 5. Okay. The reason I knew the 12 was our base and the 5 was our height, they have to be perpendicular. Okay, 1/2 times 12 times 5 gives us 30, and remember our units for area are always squared. So let me highlight where these go in our formulas just so we are extra crystal clear as to where everything's coming from. The last measurement, our height of the actual prism itself, it's going to be that 16. All right, so now it's the fun stuff. We plug into our formulas. Volume equals base area times height. Okay, 30 times 16 tells us, or gives us, 480 centimeters cubed. All right, lateral area. We have our height, which is 16 times the perimeter, which is 30. So our lateral area equals 480 centimeters squared. Oops, I forgot to box a little LA. There we go. Lastly, our surface area. Again, just plug in height 16 times the perimeter is 30. Okay, plus 2 times the area of our base, 30. So our surface area equals 540 centimeters squared. Okay. And if you're sitting here thinking, wow, this video is so long, it's just the hardest part is plugging in all the numbers, right? You were given all this other information. You had to just use these two formulas. This is a time-consuming-ish process, but a lot of this is just typing into Desmos, okay? A lot of this is just straight plugging and chugging, all right? We have 2 more, I believe. 2 more, 3 more. Okay. We now have a cylinder. Okay, we have 2 exciting measurements. We have our height. Okay. And then we have our radius. All right, let's go. Volume. Pi times our radius squared times our height. I like to leave things in terms of pi, so I would just go ahead, multiply these coefficients. 2 squared is 4 times 6 gives us 24 pi meters cubed, remember for volume. If you did really want to put this into a calculator or you needed a decimal, it would be approximately 75.4 meters cubed, but I prefer things left in terms of pi. All right, lateral area up next. We have 2 times pi times our radius times our height. Again, in terms of pi, we just multiply all of these big numbers, all of these whole numbers out front together. So that gives us 24 pi meters squared. And if you were to use that in, put that in decimal form, 75.4 meters squared. I know you may be thinking, wow, this is wild, our volume and lateral area are the same. They are different because the units are different, and normally they're not going to be the same. It's just the same because our radius is 2, right? 2 squared, 2 times 2, that's how we got the same number, okay? Last one, surface area. 2 times pi times our radius squared plus 2 times pi times our radius times our height, okay? I'm just going to break this down. Just multiply these numbers. 2 times 2 squared gives us 8 pi plus 2 times 2 times 6 gives us 24 pi. So we have that our surface area equals 32 pi. Don't forget our units, meters squared, which is approximately 100.5 meters squared. Okay, that is how we would go about these. All right. Oh goodness, this is such a long video. All right, we have a cone and a sphere, and then that's it, I promise. Okay, so hardest part of this one, we do not know our height. See, our height should be right here. We are going to have to figure that out ourselves using our handy dandy BFF, the Pythagorean theorem. Okay, so just pull out that triangle. We know x squared plus 6 squared equals 10 squared. All right, we should know how to do the Pythagorean theorem, hopefully, fingers crossed, right? When you go about this one, you find that x equals 8. So that would be our height, okay? And then everything else, we are given our little slant, that L, and then we are also given our radius. All right, there we go. So now this is the hardest part, is just we plug in. Volume equals 1/3 times pi times our radius squared times our height. If you are to leave this in terms of pi, okay, that is going to give us 100. Oopsies, I realized my height, that should be, oh, I did goof on this one. Hold on, our height is 8. So let me double check this actually real quick, because I just realized I had worked these out separately. 3 times 8. Oopsies. And I accidentally wrote a 10 instead. So when you put that into your calculator, you should get 96 pi feet cubed. And if you are to put that into a decimal, you are going to get that it's approximately 301.4 feet cubed. My bad on that one. All right, up next we have our lateral area, okay? We have pi times our radius times our slant, okay? So our lateral area is 60 pi feet squared. In decimal form, that's 188.5. Oh, I'm going to run out of space for my unit. Feet squared. All right, whoops. There we go. That would be our lateral area. Last up is our surface area. We have pi times 6 squared plus 2, oops, not a 2, plus pi times our radius times our slant. This is 36 pi plus 60 pi. So that gives us 96 pi feet squared. There we go. I forgot my units for a second, which is approximately 301.6 feet squared. All right, we are in the home stretch. We have our last shape. If you have made it to this point in the video, mad respect. Okay, last up is we have a sphere. Okay, remember this 10, that is our diameter. Okay, our diameter is twice our radius. So if our diameter equals 10, that tells me that our radius equals 5. Okay, the nice thing about spheres, radius is the only number that matters. Okay, so for volume, we have 4/3 times pi times 5 cubed. All right, this one is not going to be the prettiest if you leave it in terms of pi. All right, it's going to be 500/3 pi meters cubed, which is approximately 523.6 meters cubed. Okay, at least leaving it in terms of pi eliminates the rounding. Okay, lastly, surface area, 4 times pi times our radius squared. Okay, 4 times 5 squared gives us 100 pi. Oh, my units, meters squared, which is approximately 314.5 meters squared for our surface area. Okay, this covers all of the shapes on your formula sheet. Okay, so if at any point you don't know how to find the volume, surface area, lateral area, come back to this video. All right.